Hello guys, and welcome to the .60 update showcase video. This is going to be covering the first experimental update and what was in that. I've already done a full video on the map changes in .60, and that was a in-depth video, about 40 minutes of just talking about the map changes, looking at all the map changes around in Chernarus with this new update. So if you want to check that out, link to it will be on the screen and also down in the description. What we're looking at there is not just a nice DayZ background, that's actually the new load up screen now for DayZ, and there is also a new joining server screen. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it if you've been trying to join it on experimental, since they're so full. But the first one was overlooking Zelenogorsk, this one is overlooking Novo. I think both of them are really cool, but let's actually get in and see what changes have been made in game. Well, as you guys know, this is .60, and the big hype about this update was the new render, and it is here. It has improved FPS quite a bit, especially in the big cities where you wouldn't think you'd ever get like 60 FPS in Electro or in Cherno, but that's now possible with the new render. Not only that, but the game still also looks pretty amazing, so that's nice to see. We got a huge FPS increase with the .60 update and with the new render, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be pretty happy with that. A bunch of new infected models are now in as well. These look much better than the old models that were in, and they actually do have player clothing. They have clothing on them that us players can wear, so that's pretty cool as well. It's going to be much tougher to tell the infected from players now. Like you see there in that group of three, there's one of them wearing a tracksuit jacket, and all of them are pretty much wearing clothing that us players can wear. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I do like the new models a lot. The old ones have been in for a while, and I'm glad to see something new. And like you just saw there, it looks like the infected have learned some new tricks, so you gotta watch out for that in .60. I don't think a lot of us expected this. I mean, look at that. Not too many people expected to see that in .60, but it is in, and just something to be on the lookout for. Infected have become tougher, I would say, in .60, at least when they're chasing you, because there is, new tricks they can do to hop over things. You're not just gonna be able to fool them that easily. This is another shot of the new infected models. Not all of them, just some that I did see in Electro. Moving on to some of the new items added, we have a new dirt bike helmet. Now of course this is getting everything ready for the dirt bike that will be added into the game. There was a picture shown of it in the past, and it's not in the .60 update, only the helmet is, but hopefully this means that we'll be seeing the dirt bike pretty soon. There is a new backpack in the game now with the .60 update, and this is the Assault backpack. I actually like it quite a bit. It's 32 slots and they come in really good colors. I was wearing the green one here. I ended up finding a black one as well, so really good color, low profile, and they have 32 slots. So this is probably going to become my favorite backpack in DayZ Standalone. There are some new pants in the game. These are the slacks, and they come in a few different colors. Here we have khaki. I ended up finding the black ones as well. They do have 4 slots, but to be honest, I don't really like the way they look. You can see here I tried them on, but I still end up going with the cargos, because not only do they have 6 slots, but they do also just look better. So I don't know, maybe you guys will like them. They're okay, I guess, but I would still definitely take the cargos. Alright, now to something really interesting. There is now usage bars instead of percentages in the game. So if we're looking at items that any items you can use or anything that you can consume pretty much has this usage bar under it, and it basically tells you how much of the item is still left for you to use. So this duct tape here is still at what would be 100% left, and then as you use it more, that usage bar obviously goes down. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a good improvement, and that moves away from having all kinds of numbers and percentages in your inventory. Now moving on to the FAL, a lot of changes here. You can now pretty much use a lot of the optics that you could use on the M4 on the FAL. So that was the RV1 optic right there on it, and I was also able to use the ACOG scope on it, the M68. By the way, my red dot didn't work there because I didn't have a battery with me, which is too bad, and I think I was getting pretty unlucky with the magazines because I didn't find any magazines either, but this is a weapon I definitely want to test out with the optics in some PvP. This is a picture of someone that actually found the FAL with a reflex sight. Now you guys know weapons can spawn with attachments, and this guy found it with a reflex. I'll leave a link to the original image down in the description to give him full credit. But yeah, this is very cool. So apparently the reflex sight is also now in the game. I ended up only finding the M68 optic, I ended up finding the ACOG and also the RV1, which all do work on the FAL. Here in this clip, I actually end up trying the ACOG scope on it to see what it looks like. I don't know if it's bugged, but when I do aim down sights, it does look a little bit weird. Never seen that before, but yeah, overall, hopefully that will be fixed and we can use the ACOG. I think that's probably that's going to be one of the most powerful combinations, is the ACOG on the FAL, and yeah, that's a weapon that I would definitely use. Okay, next we're talking about looting bodies. You do now get a little description of who you ended up killing. This one right here, I ended up taking out a male survivor, Asian, so that tells you a little bit about who you ended up killing. This one was a female survivor, and with the looting process, I found the best way to do it now is you get a little pretty much list of what they had, little icons with the items they had, their backpack and stuff, and what I do is just drag it up to the top and then it brings it out and it opens it up so you can see what's inside those items. So yeah, that's the best way to do it, I think, and let's move on and see what else we have. So like we talked about earlier with weapons spawning with attachments, here is some examples that I ended up finding. This is a trumpet with a hunting scope already spawned on it, and then here we have a scorpion I ended up finding in the police station, already had a suppressor on there and already had a magazine loaded into the weapon. Weapons can now spawn with magazines, and the amount of ammo that's in that magazine is random. You can now carry backpacks in your hands even if they have items in them. So let's say you have a backpack on your back already that's full like I do here. I can fill up this black dry bag, pick it up into my hands and still carry it. So basically having two full backpacks on my character. Of course that has its disadvantages because you won't be able to have a weapon in your hand. Fishing rods are now spawning as well. This is an image that someone did post. I wasn't able to find one myself, so I will have a link to this image down in the description, and they did say that it also spawns near the coast. So the looting has kind of changed in .60. What we're going to be looking at here is how you're going to be able to loot in this update. So basically, I would suggest looking inside of clothing that's on the ground, because like you see there, items do spawn inside of clothing. A lot of the time you're going to find ammo and food, and there is also a chance for ammo and food to still spawn on its own outside of clothing. But I would still recommend, even if you're not gonna be picking up that piece of clothing, definitely look inside it and see if there is anything you need. But like you see here, I go into the next house over just across the street and find a bag of rice in here as well. So it doesn't have to be inside of clothing. Items can still spawn on their own, but I would still look inside of clothing. I was able to find a lot of useful stuff, so just keep that in mind as you're playing .60. Of course, throughout the video you guys have been seeing this new UI. It's pretty easy to use, and there is now a feature to zoom in and out on your character like you guys just saw there. And there is also a new exit menu. When you hit escape, it's no longer coming up in the middle of your screen in a small box. It's now in the bottom left corner, and I think it looks much better there. Okay, next we are talking about item spawns. Here we have the UK assault vest. Now this isn't a new vest, but this is a item that hasn't been spawning in a while, but is now back in 0.60 and is spawning at the military barracks and also any military tents. A lot of people are glad to see these back. If you guys didn't know, they come in different colors, different camos, which is pretty nice. Again, something that's not new but something that has made a return is bear traps and landmines. Bear traps are spawning in regular just sheds and, you know, factory buildings like that. Landmines are spawning at military locations. I was able to find one here inside of one of the officer barracks. USMC Pants and jacket are not new but are now spawning inside of military barracks and tents as well. Before, they would only spawn at US helis. A lot of items that used to spawn at US heli crashes are now spawning inside of barracks as well. Here's another good example. This is an ACOG optic that used to only spawn at those helis, now spawning inside of the barracks. This goes for other optics as well. I was able to find the RV1, the M68, a lot of optics that would only spawn there, now spawning inside of these barracks. Alright, so next we're talking about guns jamming. Obviously you can see here I do have ammo on the sporter. Try to shoot it and it ends up jamming. So what you can do now to fix that quickly is just hit R, and that will go ahead and sort that problem out. You no longer have to tab out and drag the ammo out, sort it, and do all that stuff. All you have to do is hit R and that should take care of it. Here we have also manual cycling that has made its way into the game. So before, with any weapons like the repeater, the CR527 or the Mosin, you'd shoot one round and then it would do the whole animation of cycling. Now you can manually cycle it, so you can shoot, see where it lands, and then hit R to manually cycle your weapon. So that's a pretty cool thing. I'm glad they added this, and it'll make these weapons much more useful. Alright, so we're going to finish up by talking about weapon spawns, and we're back again to these barracks because now you have AUGs and M4s that can't spawn in here. You can see here I do end up finding an AUG, and then in the next barrack over I do end up finding an M4. If you're wondering where this is at the brand new Tissy military base. I'll leave a link to the map changes video in the description. We do end up visiting this place and checking it out if you're interested in that. And then also back to weapon spawns again. SVDs do now spawn in the new barracks as well, and those are the ones with the double doors on them, not these barracks right here. The ones that have been more recently added do now spawn SVDs as well. It's kind of interesting because these are weapons that only used to spawn at heli crashes before, now spawning inside of barracks. And then finally, I would like to let you guys know that the AK-101 is now spawning once again. This is a weapon that hasn't spawned in quite some time, and a weapon that used to be liked by a lot of people, including me. Can't wait to use it again, and glad to see it spawning in 0.60. That's gonna do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the map changes video, and if there is any more experimental updates, you can expect more videos from me. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to hit that like and also subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next one.